Hi everyone, it's Ricky with Bromero Cards. Thank you for being here today. I'm so excited for this video today. As you know, I did an unboxing a couple days ago and posted it on my YouTube channel of a bunch of stuff that Therm sent over to me. So today I'm going to play around with some of the products and make some backgrounds that'll be featured in cards later on in this week or in the next week or so. So the first thing we're going to do is start playing with some of this neon glitz from Rena K. Pretty amazing colors. We have Orange Glow, Hello Yellow, Poppin' Pink, and Screamin' Green. Now, if we could get a blue, that would be amazing. I'll have to keep an eye out on that. We're also going to be using the Deco Foil Stencil Pal here, and I'm going to give a review of that as we go through. And we're just going to use some random stencils here by missing stamps. So we're going to be using some black cardstock and white cardstock because I want to see what these colors look like on each one. And then Pixie spray. I've been wanting to use this forever, so I'm going to be using that today to see exactly how it works and all that great stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get the stencil out, and we're going to put it on this black cardstock. I'm going to use the Pixie spray to see if I can get this to stick to the paper. And I'm just seeing exactly where I want to place the stencil on here. I'm reading the instructions because on the last video I did not read the instructions for the foam tape and y'all came at your boy. So I read the instructions, I sprayed it on the stencil, and I'm going to go ahead and place it down onto the paper here. One thing I did notice is that it would not stick to the glass mat. So I had to use some purple tape, and this is the first time I'm using this new purple tape. I do have to say this purple tape is not as sticky as the original, and it's like, I believe, to me, it's more of a one-time use kind of tape. So, you know, go with the original if you want to use it a couple times. Here we go. We're going to use the Hello Yellow first. We're going to mix it up with the palette knife here. We want to make sure everything's nice and mixed, and we're going to place it onto the cardstock. And now I'm going to use this, the PAL here, the scraping tool. And I'm going to use this. The thing is with this with this stencil is I don't think it's the right stencil for this tool. I think the tool is too wide, and I believe the tool would be better if one side was thinner, like not as thin as the palette knife, but you know, kind of like a wide palette, because then you could use it to get the stuff out of your jar and then use the other side to spread it out. So basically here I'm going to use the palette knife and stick that out again, and I'm going to try to use the PAL again. Eventually through this video you'll see that I stopped using this only because it was too big for what I was doing. Now if I was doing one color over a solid area, or just one color on the stencil, this would be perfect because you're just doing one color. But because I'm doing multiple colors, this just isn't the right tool for it. So now as we're working through, we're going to go ahead and get that cleaned up, and then we're going to move over to Orange Glow. And this one, I like this color. It's pretty amazing. And you know, if you're as old as me, maybe a few years younger, if you're older than me, this totally reminds me of Lisa Frank. I loved Lisa Frank when I was a kid. I had Trapper Keepers that had her designs on it, folders, pencils, pens, erasers. I had it all. Well, my sister had it all, and I took it. So yeah, these day glow colors totally remind me of Lisa Frank. I totally need like a cat stencil or something like that so we can make something out of it. The last color we're going to use is Hello Yellow, and then as you see when I go to lift this up and this is dry, the green and the Hello Yellow are pretty much the same color, which is interesting. I think it's because they both have green, green glitter in it. So I didn't get as much as the yellow on here that I wanted. So, next time. Here comes my favorite part. We're going to go ahead and lift this off and see if the Pixie spray worked. And it did. It never moved. Look how beautiful that is. That's amazing. Cannot wait to use that on a card. Next, we are going to do this on white cardstock, and we're going to use a different stencil here. This is also by Miss Ink Stamps. And we're going to follow the same process. I did do the last one on a piece of white paper also, and I just didn't show it. I just skipped that part for you. It was the same process on the black and as the white, and I'm doing the same thing with the round one here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tape this down. I sprayed it with Pixie spray and it sticks. And I'm going to use this, the purple tape. Actually, this is a recycle of the last one I used. So, you know, you could use it a couple times more, I suppose. It's just not very sticky like the other versions are. And as you saw, my stencil, my paper moved. So obviously it's not sticking too well on there. Now we're going to go ahead and get this scraped up, and we'll go ahead and get over to the next color. Now we're going to be using the Screamin' Green, and it's the same process. We're just going to use the palette knife here, and as you see, I just start using the knife going forward, and I'm also going to switch out the tape. Again, it wasn't as very sticky as the old purple tape is, but the old purple tape sometimes will rip your stuff. So where's the happy medium? We're getting there. One day we will be there. So we'll go ahead and get this Screamin' Green on. I do love this color. Actually, I love all these colors. I don't know why I keep saying I love this one, I love this one. I love all of them. Next, we're going to go ahead and get the pink on here. We're just going to spread that out. Get an even layer. It doesn't have to be super thick unless you want it to be. And we'll go ahead and get the last color on, which is the Orange Glow. Now as we get that on, we're gonna, as you can see here, I really didn't spread this too evenly, or the colors are not even, like the quadrants, I suppose I should say, but that's okay. We're just playing, we're having some fun, we're just chilling, having some fun. We're going to use these later on for other cards. We're going to go ahead and lift this up, and wow, beautiful. Look at that. Just spectacular. Now we are going to do some work on some flocking. And I'd never done this before, so I had to do a little research on how this works, and I had everything that I needed to go ahead and do this. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy placed down onto the cardstock again. We're going to use some purple tape here. And then I did not use the Pixie spray on this, and you will see after I take this off that I should have, because it bled through. We're going to use this transfer gel. You can use this. This is also used for foiling, but you can use it for flocking too. I had to investigate to make sure. But we're just going to spread this evenly all across the stencil. Doesn't have to be super thick unless you want it to be, but this, most of it's going to be covered up with flocking, so you don't want it to be super thick. There's no need for it. I'm going to go ahead and get this spread out really good and even all over the card. Make sure every spot is covered that I want to be covered with the flocking. And then the directions say this needs to dry for an hour. I did not do that. I used a heat gun and actually dried this off after I cleaned off the stencils. That's one thing you always want to do. Clean off your stencils, your palette knife, your desk right away with this. And also any kind of glitter paste that you're using, because once it hardens, it's hard to get off your stencil. And, you know, we don't want that. Now here you can't really see that there's a mess up here, or that some leaked under the stencil, but you will once I go to take the flocking off, or put the flocking on. Here we go. We have the black and the white version, and we're going to be doing flocking on both of these. We're going to do two different styles. This is all the colors here. I went ahead and pre-cut everything out that I needed, and we're going to be using squares on this one, and we're going to place them all along the cardstock here. I tried to get them as even as possible, but not very good at that. So, and I struggled a little bit actually, because I thought the Deco or the transfer gel would be a little more sticky, and it wasn't as sticky as I thought it would be. So the flock was coming on and off, and you know, I had to adjust a little bit. And then once I get it through the laminating machine, you'll also see that you know, a little piece did slide as it was going through the laminating sheet. And then here you see me struggling trying to keep all of it together and even. Again, we're just having fun. This isn't, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and place this into the transfer sheet, which is just some, like, I believe this is, it's not wax paper, it's parchment paper. And we're going to stick this through the laminating machine. This laminating machine was I don't know, $10 on Amazon. You don't have to have anything fancy for it, you know, just as long as it heats up and you can put something through it, you're fine. So we're going to go ahead and get that fed through. It does take about a minute and a half to get out, and I ran it through twice just to make sure everything worked. And see, you could see there where the gel leaked under the stencil. Now, if I would have used the Pixie spray, I probably would not have that issue. And I'm not for sure why I didn't use the Pixie spray. It was on my desk. It was right in front of me, but I didn't do it. Look how cool that looks. And it feels so neat. It's just like I said, it reminds me of the wallpaper that we had when I was a child. And it was kind of like that raised embossed velour feeling. So that's what that reminds me of. Now we're going to be using the same colors, except for I'm going to go ahead and cut these into triangles, and we are going to try just a different pattern on this. Basically, I'm just going to make a square out of all these, and we will be also putting them through the laminating machine. Now, you probably could use an iron for this. If you didn't have a laminating machine, you would just, want to make sure that you're really careful and you don't melt anything or burn anything. But the laminating machine is so cheap. It's actually cheaper than an iron, probably. So, yeah. I don't know if you can hear my dogs snoring and moving in the background, but, they have to be here for this sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and get this repositioned. And we're also going to put this through the laminating machine with the transfer paper and all that great stuff. I was trying to struggle here with how uneven this paper is, but I was just like, you know what, forget it. This is supposed to be fun. Why am I stressing over this? So we're going to go ahead and get this bad boy through the laminating machine. Again, I did run it through twice. It takes about 3 minutes. And then here we go, the reveal, which looks amazing. I love this look. I love it on black cardstock. I think it looks so cool. And it also it feels really cool too. Which is interesting because sometimes I have texture issues with things, but this, I can handle this. It wasn't actually too bad. And then as you can see under here, all the different ones that we've already made. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to be using these for some backgrounds for some cards soon. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you like any of the products, make sure you click the links at the bottom. And make sure you come to find me over on Instagram. Like this channel, subscribe, click the bell so that new videos are coming out. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later and have a great week. Bye.